Hey guys, Melinda Caldwell here. And so let's talk about really what the secret is. Let's talk about really how are people making so much money online. And the reason why I wanted to do this quick video is because I had a really great chat with someone on Facebook today who has been struggling in their network marketing business, and they're just trying to figure out what the big secret is. And so I'm going to tell you a quick story. So, I remember being 7 or 8 years old and really living in a poor environment. Now, my mother was a wonderful mother. She did everything she could for us. She provided the best way that she could. I have three other siblings, and we had a father up until one point. And unfortunately, our dad was addicted to drugs and alcohol. And so I can vividly remember, my mother sitting at the edge of the steps or pacing around the house by the door or being like in a state of worry and pain and aggravation and being scared. And I remember her like every other Friday when it was payday, my dad had to work. Back then you didn't have the resources that you have now for daycare. So we stayed home and she stayed with us and he went to work. And so she would be waiting, and usually there was something cut off. It's like we never had all of our utilities on. It was either the lights were off, or the water was off, or the gas was turned off, or something was turned off, or, you know, we ran out of food stamps that month because we had to sell them to pay a bill, or, something. And so my mom was waiting for my dad to come home, and sometimes he didn't. He would come home maybe with half the check because he spent the other half drinking or buying drugs, or maybe he just didn't come home with any, and so we had to continue living without. And so I can remember her pain. I remember her sorrow in her face and her anguish. And even at the age of 6, 7, 8 years old, being in elementary school, I remember having to wash up out of a bucket because my mom had to go back and forth across the street to get water for us to even take baths. I remember how painful that was. And I remember being so young and saying to myself, I will never live like this. There has to be a better way. And, you know, things did get better. My father eventually moved. He was kicked out, and my mom eventually did get a job and things got better. But that time in my life, the emotions that I felt, the sadness that I felt, and even though my mom did such an amazing job to try to mask how poor we were. I mean, we were so poor, we were homeless at times, living in shelters. We were going back and forth with other family members to live. It was a rough time. And my mom just did everything. She could take a potato, she could take a sack of potatoes, and we could eat all week with some ramen noodles, honey. Get it? She would do it. So phenomenal mother. And so, but she made it happen. We're still here today. We're not starving. We're all doing okay. So I just wanted to give you that story because that story stays with me. That those emotions, I can remember how I felt even in this moment. It almost brings tears to my eyes, going to school and smelling, having a scent, a musty smell, because we we didn't have water sometimes. And I can remember dreading to go to the gym because I knew that if I worked up a sweat, then it would be awful and the kids would laugh at me, and they did. And I remember those things. And so now, as a grown woman with three children of my own, that is why I choose to work as hard as I can and do what I do. That is my why, because my kids will never go without. They will never not have water and electricity, the bare necessities. But beyond the bare necessities, I want them to live a good life, and understand that it does take hard work. And see, that is the key, honestly, to being successful online or in internet marketing or any business, is that you have to have such a strong emotional attachment to something that it will keep you going in situations that are just out of your control. Like when you are trying to put a funnel together, for your internet marketing project, and you spend freaking 18 fucking hours on that funnel, excuse my French, but you spend all this time on this funnel and you don't get any leads. Most people will quit after that, but you have that emotional attachment that you keep going. Or when you do start seeing some success and then everybody just drops out. You have that emotional attachment of why you do this, and that keeps you going. Or when you're spending all this money and it's going out and it's going out and it's going out and you're not seeing anything coming in. You have this emotional attachment that keeps you going, that reminds you of why you're doing this. See, if you're doing this to get your little hair done every week, that's not going to cut it. If you're doing this because you want to drive a nice car, that's not going to keep you going. If you're doing this because you want to have a nice house, that's not going to keep you going. If you want to take your little trips and vacations, honey, that's not going to keep you going. See, you can get a job. You can go to college and get a job and get that. But when it comes to living a life of freedom and abundance, that's a whole nother realm of why. That's a whole nother realm of why you do what you do. See, you do this. Let me tell you what makes you happy. You do this because you want to be happy. But cars don't make you happy. The money, you want to make 10 grand a month, 20,000 a month. That doesn't make you happy. What makes you happy is when you don't have to shovel your kids off to daycare when they're like freaking 6 months old and you got to hurry up and get to work. What makes you happy and what keeps you going is when you're a father and you can actually take your kids to school in the morning when all the other dads are at work. What keeps you going is that your kids actually know you, that they actually will grow up and say, I remember all these great times and have these memories with my parents. They were home and everybody else's parents were at work. What makes you happy is when you know that you're living the life that you were supposed to live and you're helping the people that you were supposed to help. So if your why does not bring almost a tear to your eye or doesn't make you cry, at least, then you got to find another why, because that's not going to keep you going. And all this internet marketers who make you think that it's going to be so easy, it's some bullshit. It is not easy. It is hard. It is hard work. But why do we keep doing it? Because it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth being able to be with your children. It's worth being able to send your kids to college if they want to go to college. It's worth being able to travel the world. It's worth having a great marriage and not having all these issues about finances. It's worth being able to give to the charities that you love and helping people. That's what it's all about. So if you're in this because you want to make a quick $500, then go get a fucking job. Because that's not going to help you in this business. It's not going to keep you going. It's not. I just want to discourage everybody who is just doing this for some material bullshit. That is not going to keep you going. It is for the people you love. It's your family, and it is the reason why you're here on this earth. That's what's going to keep you going. That is the key to success. And so if you feel me right now, if you understand, if you hear me, and you're not one of these people that are just trying to make a quick buck online, then I want you to click that link below, and I want you to understand what's possible. I want you to see what's possible. I don't want you to just think, oh, I'm just going to try this. Oh, this might work for me. Maybe this will help my situation. I want you to make a decision that before you even click this link and even know what's behind that door, that you're going to change your life no matter what. Whatever it takes, you're going to do it. You're not going to quit, and you're going to keep going. Click the link below, and I'll see you on the other side.